happen if you don't show me respect? I want to see this. What's going to happen? Nothing. Chairs like nothing. Nothing. Little spanky spanky. Hello, everybody. My name is Stacy Spanos. I am the morning anchor on Channel 4, the local station. I've only been doing it like 100 years. That's why I'm tired all the time. But I hope that I don't know, I hope I've smiled at you in some morning and said good morning.
Christian Garcia, please report for dismissal. Christian Garcia.
Or hopefully I've informed you about something in the morning. If not, well, maybe tomorrow morning, because I'm there from 6 to 9, okay? How many of you are interested in the news at 6th grade? You are? Fantastic. Well, what are some of the things you're interested in? Yeah, the weather? Me too. Me too. How about you? Well, what news? What news? Oh, the Oscars. Okay, how about you? Everything. How about you?
Zoe, Madison, and Braylon Moore, please report for dismissal.
For me, since I come from Arabia, I normally watch what's happening there.
You watch what's happening, but not on our local news, because we don't cover a lot of international news. We do some. How about you? What's new and now? Okay. So I'm glad to hear that a lot of you are watching local news. Do you feel like, I don't know, it's important to you? You do? I mean, I'm just asking, because I'd like to know what, how old are you guys? 11, 12 years old? I'm sorry, not 11. 23? So am I. So that's my job. I get up, okay, so here's an example of a job you can do. I know you guys are focused on sciences and math and things like that here, but I know there's a video club as well. So when I was growing up and when I was your age, I too was interested in the news. And I like to talk about politics. I grew up in a family that discussed politics. Maybe yours doesn't, but that's okay because you can talk about these things as you get older with your friends. I like to write. I would sit and write fiction, I guess is what we call it, not pretend stories. And I like to type. So as I got older, those things kind of gelled into my career, which is broadcast journalism. And I graduated from the University of Florida with that degree. It's called telecommunication at UF. And then I know this is a long time ago. How many, you guys were born in 97, 90? Okay, how big of a loser do I feel now? Because you guys were born after I graduated college. But that's okay. One day you're going to be the old ones looking down at a class younger than you. Okay? So yes, it's going to happen. Your metabolism will slow down too. I know. It seems like it's never going to happen, but God willing it will. Okay, so I graduated in 97, and my first job was in Yeehaw, Texas. Lubbock, Texas. Very ugly landscape, but very beautiful people. They were very artistic. Anyway, I digress. And then after 3 years there, because you have to get your first job where you pay your dues. You don't make a lot of money at that first job. You guys may because you're more inclined towards science and math. And that's a great career path. You guys may graduate with an engineering degree and make $75,000 in college. Yeah, after you graduate college. You know what I was making? Being a TV person, a TV journalist? $16,000. Okay? That is, no, a year. $16,000. I know you guys, $16,000 I think is probably the poverty level. I probably could be considered poor. But that's what you do, and then you work your way up, and then you get a better job, hopefully, and you keep working, and you get a better job, hopefully. I know that sounds really boring, but that's how life is going to be for you guys when you turn 18. Not to bring you down or anything. So, what are some of the cool things you think I get to do as a TV journalist? Not just me, but other people in my industry. What do you think? Travel? I've got to travel. How about you back there, young lady? Well, be on TV, which is a cool thing. I will admit. How about you? Meet people? Yeah, that's really cool. I've gotten to interview Barack Obama when he was a candidate, before he became president. I've got to interview John McCain, Paris Hilton, not in the flesh, but via satellite. Some of the other people, I know Tori, spelling's not really your thing. I'm trying to think of young people that you guys would be interested in that I've interviewed. No, not Taylor Swift. Dwight Howard. Who? Dwight Howard. Dwight who?
That's Dwight.
Oh, no, Dwight Howard. Sorry. How about you, sweetie? Country superstars? You know, there's a lot of people that we interview via satellite where they're not actually in the studio. I'll just see them on camera, so there have been a lot that I don't recall, but yeah, people like that. I'm trying to think country music-wise. I know there have been. So not only is your goal in your life to make money in your job, but is also to feel fulfilled and to be interested. So keep that in mind when you're trying to figure out what you want to do with your life, okay? Because you got to love what you do. I know a lot of your parents may say, oh, get a job that pays you well. But get a job that you are interested in first and foremost, because imagine doing something for 20 years and being totally bored, okay? So I'm just going to talk to you about a couple of things that I think that are very important to have when I think you can probably apply these things now at school, not just when you graduate. The first thing you have to have that's very important are the skills. You got to know your stuff, guys, if you're learning it here. So keep in mind, know your stuff first and foremost. If you don't know it, you're not going to get that job. Second of all, I think is very important is an attitude. How many people do you know that have bad attitudes? Okay. Some days. How many people, okay, it's just outside. Maybe your feet got wet. How many of you had a bad attitude starting off today? I understand that, okay? Imagine if you felt like that every day. Imagine if your mother felt like that every day, or your brother or sister. That gets old, doesn't it? You don't want to feel like that every day. So have a great attitude. Be a team player, and I know that's something that's not hard to achieve every day, but I think that's something that we should aspire to every day. And I know these are just really kind of generic, but another thing that's important, I think the third element that's important to remember is to have a nice appearance. You guys have a nice appearance. You wear your uniforms every day. That just kind of puts you in the frame of mind, doesn't it? I know a lot of you would probably like to wear sweatpants. I would love to be in sweatpants right now. But if I came to you walking in here with sweatpants and my hair in a ponytail, you'd be like, oh, this chick's like, I don't know, soccer player. Not a soccer, she looks kind of frumpy. I know my shoes are kind of wet, but you'd be like, she looks kind of frumpy. What's she doing here? She's supposed to be a professional? So keep that in mind. That is very important as well. When you walk into that job interview, want to shake hand, look in the eye, and have a nice appearance for your boss, okay? So, I would love to entertain any of your questions. If you guys have, let me tell you one interesting story. One of my scariest experiences as a TV journalist. Back in Texas, there was a guy who had a, like the Caddyshack Ranch here, I don't know if you know it, but a guy has tigers, right? Okay? There was a guy who had something like that up in Texas. As he was cleaning the pen, he had a male and a female in the pen, and the male was a huge, beautiful Siberian tiger. Have you seen their paws? They're like this big. They're gorgeous. He was cleaning the cage. Something happened. I don't know if the female was in heat, so the male tiger was going crazy. He attacked the caregiver and got him like this in a headlock with his jaws. One of his buddies saw it, ran back, got a gun, shot the Siberian. Can you imagine pointing a gun at a tiger's head that's got your friend's head in his mouth? He was a good shot, thank God. He hit him right in the head, killed the tiger. I saw the guy afterwards. You could see the puncture marks in his neck, but fortunately he wasn't paralyzed or severely injured. Well, the female tiger escaped because the cage was open, and that was the big story. Where is this female tiger? So I was walking out to this field. Imagine, you can't have that in a residential neighborhood. It was out on a farm somewhere. And I was getting to the destination because my live truck was already set up, and I was going to broadcast live that night. We had a 10 o'clock show out there because it's a different time zone. It's not an 11 p.m. show. So eventually they caught the female tiger, but as I was walking out there, they hadn't. So I'm thinking, oh my gosh, she's gonna pounce on me. You know, you don't know. And I always have dreams of wild animals attacking me, so I guess that was it, come true. So eventually they caught her, they herded her back into her cage, and we set up the live shot right outside the fence. I'm talking, here's the fence, and here's me. And there's a big light right there. She's all, you know, frazzled because she's had quite a day. She's like pacing back and forth, making these little noises. The minute my photographer, okay, we're gonna go live in like, you know, I don't know, 5 minutes. So we've got the shot ready, my camera's right here, the light's up there, but he didn't turn the light on yet. The second he turned the light on, that tiger behind me, and pounced and hit. This is just a chain link fence separating us, and scared the devil out of me. And of course, since I have these horrible dreams, like, this is it, this is the big moment, I'm going down. I didn't go down, but we turned it off quickly just to settle her down. And then we had to turn it on because you can't broadcast in the dark. You know, you take a picture in the dark, you have to have a flash, right? So turn it on, she pounced again. Every cell in my body is screaming. I felt like a caveman, you know, like, you know, the only things that you have to worry about are being eaten by animals. And so we did it, she pounced, I freaked out, I calmed down, and then I had to deliver my report, trying not to have everybody hear my heart pound in my chest as I did it. So that was one of the more interesting aspects of my career. Fortunately, you guys are kind of young for this email that I have here. Yeah, you guys are too young. What it was, I know you can handle it, but it may not be appropriate. That email that I had was showing was just to show you an example of how you're going to go through your life. Hopefully you have very loving, supportive family and friends around you. But when you get in the real world, there are people who want to bring you down too. And so I've got emails, one really weird one, about a woman who had a problem with the way I looked in my dress and suggested that I go to a store and, I'll just say this, get some new support. That's all I'm going to say. You know what I'm saying? And look, here it is, it says, you need it bad. And she put like 1,000,000 exclamation marks. So when you encounter tough things like that in your life, for like, that was so outrageous, but for the first, like, I think for a couple minutes I was like, gosh, what? You know, I was just so outraged. And then I was like, you know what, who cares? Pick yourself up and keep on doing what you're doing. So keep that in mind. You're going to get people who criticize you, people who don't like you for whatever reason. You like you, pick yourself up and move on, okay? Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever met Anderson Cooper?
No, I haven't met Anderson Cooper. Do you like him? Yeah? What do you like about him? What do you like about him?
I don't know, he's just like famous.
You think he's a good journalist?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. How about you? With who? Joel Zimmerman. Who's that? Joel Zimmerman. Pardon me? Oh no, Dead Mouse. You know what, I just learned about him probably over Christmas time, sorry. Isn't he dating Kat Von D? Yeah. See, that's the thing about being a reporter, you have to know a little bit about a lot of things. So you can try to trip me up periodically, I'll see if I know something about it. Yes, sir? Can you speak up, please? Yeah, we're by San Marco, by the South Bank. We did stories. I wasn't personally out there. He was asking about a problem in San Marco where they were doing roadway projects. They had a lot of problems. A lot of businesses were upset. Is Vito's Pizza? Is that your family? Oh yeah, they're okay though. I saw them the other day. Keep in mind, those little silly stories about roads being closed, what kind of impact they have on families. A lot of people, if the road's closed, they don't go to those businesses, and it hurts those businesses, and it hurts the children of the people who own those businesses. So you may see it as something like that, but there is a human story to it, and that's what you do as a reporter. You try to bring the human story to life. Yes, sir, back there?
Is it your station that's always at the courthouse?
A lot of us, he asked if we're always at the courthouse. A lot of us are always at the courthouse. Any particular story, or?
Oh no, because every day I go home, I see, we drive by the courthouse every day.
With the new one? Has anybody been in that new courthouse? Yeah, is it neat? It's nice. Oh, you guys went on a trip there? Oh. Oh, okay. I hear it looks beautiful. I still haven't been in. Yes, right here. Have I ever done a report on Caddyshack? I have not been out to their place, but they have been in the studio many times, and they've brought their cubs. And they are cute. One time, okay, at the beginning of the 8 o'clock hour, 8 a.m., we have all of us sitting on a couch. And we do little snippets of what's coming up. And, you know, you have to talk about sometimes bad news, like, you know, somebody died. Well, they had the cubs, they had 5 of them in the studio when it happened. So we're trying to talk about serious news, you know, also coming up, you know, the shooting of Trayvon Martin. You know, that's serious, somebody died. And you hear these cubs going, I don't even remember what they sound, but I was like, rah, 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 rah. And I was like, oh, that bugs me when you're trying to be serious and you hear stuff like that. So they're cute though. Some of them smell. Yes, ma'am. Psy from Gangnam Style? No, he's a little too big for WJXT. How about you? Because he didn't have a tranquilizer. He just got the first thing. He asked, why didn't they tranquilize that tiger instead of shooting it? Yeah, I know, it was a shame. It was a beautiful animal. They should get one? They may have, but if it's a life or death situation, do you have time to wait for the tranquilizer to work? Well, yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, what? No, she's asking, have I interviewed Taylor Swift? No. You gotta remember, we're at local level. If I was national, maybe. But you don't get like the real big names until they kind of come down a little bit. Sometimes you do. But I did interview Tim McGraw once. He had a concert. He was a nice guy. Who? Yes, ma'am. I can't hear you guys. Have I what? No, what's his wife's name? Miranda?
Miranda Lambert.
I'm thinking that somebody interviewed her. I think she was on our show just a couple of weeks ago, but satellite though, not in town. Yes, sir. Is that a YouTube thing? No, but I'm going to look it up.
Guys,
Is it funny?
last question. One more question then.
All right. Yes. Yes, that was a crazy story. There was yesterday a Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission plane was flying over Mayport, and they just, can you imagine? They just happened to see shipwreck debris, like pieces of a boat floating, and life jackets. Listen to you, future reporter. And yeah, exactly, 10 life jackets. And the Coast Guard went and investigated and found big pieces of a shipwreck. And they said there was no marine life on it to indicate that maybe it had wrecked, 2 years ago and it was just floating to the surface now. They found a man floating nearby. They did find his passport. He was not an American. And I just heard at noon before I left work that they tried to contact his family, but they were unsuccessful. And they found those 10 life vests, which makes them wonder whether there are other people that were on board that boat. But the thing about that story is that nobody called a distress call. Nobody's missing from this area. So I gotta throw this out there. You don't know, sometimes they ship drugs on ships. Was it that? It may not have been. Because most drug dealers don't have their passport on them. I don't know. I'm assuming they don't. Anyway, so that's terrible. But you got to keep in mind, these things are like really kind of sensational, and you're like, wow. But you have to remember that there are human lives lost in that. and that somebody's family is suffering. And that's the hard part of my job, is that it does weigh on you after a while, because bad things happen to people. So,
Thank you for listening to Stacy. Let's keep it.
Okay. All right, thank you, Stacy, for coming.
you're welcome.
So that was a great assembly.
Thank you.
That was great. We just have a few questions to ask you because not everyone at the school got to experience you and your presentation. So you are head anchor at Channel 4, correct?
I'm one of the morning show anchors.
Yes, okay. So how do you enjoy doing that?
I like it a lot. It's challenging. It's busy. It's exciting, and it's tiring because I set my alarm for 3 a.m. every day.
Oh, God.
Well, 5 days a week, so yeah.
Yeah. So do you think that is the most challenging part of being an anchorwoman?
Yes.
Yeah.
For me, that shift is the most challenging, just the hours. I've been doing it 11 years now, so,
Oh.
you know, I would like to say I'm totally used to it, but not completely.
Yeah. So what's your favorite part about being an anchorwoman?
My favorite part is probably just satisfying the curiosity I have. From a purely selfish standpoint, it's
Yeah.
satisfying the curiosity I have about the world, whether it be politics, science, you know, Hollywood,
Yeah.
various issues like that. But on another standpoint, not non-selfish, I really feel it's a big responsibility and one that I relish to inform people of important things that impact them.
That's good. Yeah, I've definitely been thinking about getting into becoming an anchorwoman. Like, that's my dream as of right now. I'm also a little curious. Have you always wanted to be an anchorwoman, or?
I knew I wanted to do journalism, and it wasn't until college that one of my dorm mates said, I'm going into broadcast journalism, and then a light bulb went off, and I thought, that might be it for me too.
So what was it like when you were going through college doing that? Was it difficult, or did you enjoy it?
It was difficult like every major, probably not as difficult as some majors, like, you know, a science or a math major, but it definitely had its challenges, trying to put together a story and interview people. I broke out of my shell because I was very, I think a lot of us are hesitant to call people that we don't know, but
Yeah.
that's what you have to do. You have to call and you have to ask a lot of questions,
Okay.
and a lot of people don't like that, so you still have to stand your course, stand your ground
Yeah.
on that. And putting together stories when you don't know how, it was kind of frustrating because I always wanted to feel better than where I was, but that just comes with time.
Yeah, so I remember you were saying in the assembly as well that it's a difficult job. You have to work your way up constantly in order to get to where you are now. Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't make hardly any money at the beginning.
Yeah, but it pays off in the end. Right?
If you stick with it long
Yeah.
enough, and hopefully all the stars will align.
Yeah. Okay. And I mean, do you have any words of inspiration for our students here at RCSA?
Just keep doing what you're doing. If I can turn and look at the camera for dramatic effect. Zoom in on me, please. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Obviously, I know, you know, how the angles work. Just keep doing what you're doing. Try to be smart. Try not to be, I mean, I know I was your age, you know, too. I know there's a lot of different ages that will see this, but just try to be the best you can be. Try to be moral, try to be ethical, because those things do come into play when you embark on your career.
Most definitely, yeah.
Because if you're, you know, I'm a journalist, but somebody else may choose to be an engineer or a geneticist, and ethics plays a role. It's an important role.
Okay. And I mean, of course, I have to ask. You had a little tour of our school, so what do you think of it?
Go River City Science Academy. It's a beautiful school, you guys, and I hear you're growing, and then there's a waiting list, so enjoy it, because you're in a place where people want to be, and you're already here, so that's great for you.
Yes, I've been here since 6th grade. Graduate next year, so
Awesome.
I've experienced all of this.
Yeah, I bet.
Yes, and I can even say too that it's great here.
Good.
And we really appreciate you coming and letting us take a little bit of your time to ask you a few questions.
No problem.
So, but I guess that's all we have for today.
All right,
So,
thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
And this was an interview with Stacy Spanos from Channel 4, the local station.